Hi everyone, welcome back to Red and Blue News. My name is Nick Philpot. Hope you've enjoyed a wonderful summer. We have this brand new feature that John started for us on the page recently called the Palace Inquisition. The Palace Inquisition. So you saw John's attempt at it the other day. Now we think all the admins are going to have a go at it for you. So you've got mine following right now, but we want yours as well. So please come and join us. Get brave in front of the camera. It's nothing exciting. It doesn't matter if you cock it up. We have a great editing facility for you. So just send John a few short, sharp clips to his email address, okay, or to our WhatsApp group, whatever it is, okay, and we'll sort it out. Put it on the page if you don't mind us broadcasting it, and we'll have a bit of fun. And that's exactly what it is. It's a bit of fun. So it's called the Palace Inquisition, and this is mine from Nick Philpot. So the first question is, what was my first ever Palace game? Well, from recollection, it was, I'm probably the granddaddy of the group, okay? 1972-73 season, Palace played at home to Stoke City. I actually went with a friend of mine from school, okay, and his dad to my first ever game. We sat in the seated area at the back of the Arthur, okay, having a great view of the Homesdale. Now, don't forget, in those days, the Homesdale Road was a terracing, okay, with those horrible grates over the front of the stand. It was quite a scary thing. And my main recollection is nothing to do with the game. It was actually to do with the support was in there. It was clearly kicking off in the Homesdale at some point. I've got this vision of this bloke with this mullet haircut, okay, down to his shoulders, Palace fan, in his Palace shirt. He had dungarees on over the top of a Palace shirt, okay, side pockets, high button waistband, which was the fashion in those days, a bit like what John Ellicott and Ben Allen are wearing these days, okay, especially with the haircut, mullet haircuts, and it was kicking off in the Homesdale. Good game, Palace versus Stoke City. I believe it was I think it was an FA Cup game, 1972-73 season. That's my first Palace match. So my favourite Palace player of all time, okay? All the others will go for the obvious because they're younger than me. They're going to go with Wilf Zaha or Vince Hilaire or Kenny Sampson, okay? Well, mine's not. Mine is Attilio Lombardo. What you got to understand is in those days, Attilio Lombardo was a player playing in a team well below his station. He was like the shining light. He was like the lighthouse within the squad. I mean, everything went through him. He was getting, bear in mind, he was in the autumn of his career. He was actually playing some really good football for a bloke of his age. Okay, he came to join us, and then later on, he managed us for a short time as well. If you've never seen any clips of Attilio Lombardo, especially when he's playing for Palace, get onto YouTube, have a look at it. Attilio Lombardo, for you youngsters out there, what a talented player. And of course, in the crap team that he was playing in, we made him look even better than he actually was. My most memorable game, okay, well, there's probably, I mean, bear in mind with my age and everything else, there's quite a few over the seasons, but there's probably a couple that stick in my mind more than anything else. Of course, the 1990 Cup final, where we should have won, we ended up drawing 3-3 and losing it in the replay in that horrible bumblebee coloured shirt. Again, for you youngsters out there that don't know what I'm talking about, go and Google Palace's replay shirt of the 1990 Cup final. That's a day that will stay in my life. We were on it from about 8:30 in the morning that morning, and I'll tell you now, my late friend Mark and I were completely wasted before we got to the old Wembley, the old Twin Towers. The other one, of course, is actually a game that I didn't go to, but I actually watched it here in my lounge with some friends, okay, because I couldn't get a ticket at that time. I wasn't a season ticket holder at that time. Was the Crystal game. That to this day is just, you know, to watch I think the joy more than anything else was to watch the disappointment, anger, frustration of the Liverpool fans. I mean, they just thought they had to turn up, beat us by 5 or 6-0, win the game. Well, we know that they took a 3-0 lead, one by one, with Gailey and all the rest of it. We pulled it back. The atmosphere in the stadium looked to be rocking that night. I say I wasn't there. But the best thing about it of all, because I can't stand anything that comes out of Merseyside, at all, okay? And I've known lots of people in Liverpool, but to listen to them whining after it, you know, we was robbed. It should have been our year. Crystal Palace 3, Liverpool 3. My most memorable goal, again, alluding back to the 1990 Cup final, Ian Wright, who I had the pleasure of meeting earlier in the season, just before the Cup final, when he was still on crutches, because obviously he had a broken leg before that. He came off the bench and scored a couple of goals. One of those was, and here comes Wright. Here comes Wright. What impact can he make? And with that, he buries it in the back of the net. That's my most memorable goal. Ian Wright in the Cup final, 1990. My first ever Palace top, well, I don't have it anymore, but I'll give you an idea of the one. I was talking to you earlier about the Stoke City game back in 1972. It's the one where it was Peter Taylor, Paul Hinshelwood, Alan Whittle, Don Rogers were in the team, Mel Blythe. It was that white with like a, I hate to say it, but it was like the West Ham purplish colour on it. That was my first ever Palace top. So I know they do a replica version of it now, but sadly I no longer have that particular shirt. My all-time favourite Palace kits, well, there's been a few. Those of you who watch the page regularly will know that I am a big fan of the sash, and I'm delighted to say I have the new sash for this season. The 80s sash, white shirt, sash across the middle. Okay, might have been up there with it, but my actual Palace favourite of all time, many of you won't even have seen this, okay? It was in the days when we were sponsored by a company called Tulip Computers, okay? Again, I don't even think they're in operation now. It's a nod to the old Brazilian kit with the green collar and the green Tulip Computers logo on there. And of course, it's got our badge on it. So that is my favourite kit of all time. And to finish up, my predictions as to where we will finish this season. Now this, when it's being recorded, is still about 2 weeks before the close of the transfer window. So it's a very difficult one to be able to predict. I've no idea where we're going to finish because, to be honest with you, I've no idea who's going to be in the team. Will Zaha still be there? Will Townsend still be there? Who are we going to bring in? Who's going to fill the 2 loan spots? We don't know any of those, the answers to any of those questions. So at time of going to record this, I'm going to work on the assumption that Will's still with us and Townsend is still with us. And we bring something like Tammy Abrahams or Loftus-Cheek back in on loan, unlikely. But we need somebody to fill in the hole left by Johan Cabaye, who is departure at the end of the season. So assuming we bring in a couple of good loans, I know the budget's tight and everything else. I don't really care where we finished as long as it's 4th or above in the Premier League. But I think mid-table, we have, without injuries, we actually have the first starting 11, an extremely good team. My biggest concern is that we don't have a ready-made replacement for every position on the pitch. I'll give you the example. Benteke is your striker and Surloff is your backup. Now, from what I've seen of Surloff, and we know he's limited, you know, he's very, he hasn't found his way yet. So the one position that we are well covered for this season, of course, is the goalkeeper. Gait has come in with Hennessy Easy's backup. Now that's my example, good example. And even if we get an injury there, we've got Julian to step in. So we've probably got 3, you know, more than capable players to cover that one position. So my prediction is probably mid-table or just below, okay, but all dependent on transfers in the next couple of weeks. I'll see you when I get back from my holiday. Now, don't forget, we also want your ideas, your version of this to be put on the page. Let's have a bit of fun. We've got plenty of time, 2 weeks before the season starts. Get yours recorded, get them over to John while I'm on holiday, and I shall look forward to seeing them while I'm on the beach in Spain. I'll see you soon, guys. Up the Palace.